You're listening to Freezecast, a podcast discussing all the latest news and drama in the Toontown community. Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 2 of Freezecast. I'm your host, Freeze. This episode is brought to you by Freeze Vivo. More on that later. Please welcome today's special guest, Frizzy Dog and Pop, also known as DJYC21215.
Yeah, what's up?
Before we begin, do you have a preferred name that I should call you?
Just call me Chris.
Okay, so Frizzy. The listeners want to know, why don't you own any furniture?
I mean, as for right now, I can't really afford any furniture. I only make about $50 a day driving for Uber.
$50 per day. I thought you made 6 figures.
Well, yeah, I do make 6 figures. You just have to include the decimals.
Interesting. I think I said that in my original response to you.
Yeah, you were right about that. Another thing you were right about is that my forehead is massive and my nose looks like it's about to lift off.
I thought NASA discontinued the space shuttle program until I saw your nose. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've cleared a space shuttle to land on your forehead before. Do you do anything else for work besides driving for Uber?
I recently got a part-time job as a lumberjack. I use my teeth to cut down trees.
You know what they say, work smarter, not harder. And you seem to be doing neither.
Well, as you already know, I'm not that smart. My IQ is around 50.
Well, that's 50 more than I would have guessed. Let's talk about what you teach on your channel. The whole observing nature thing. When was the last time you left the house for non-work related purposes?
About 4 years ago. I went on a walk through town and I slipped and fell into the sewer. I hit my head pretty hard.
That's not surprising. Is that about the time you started to spout nonsense over the internet?
I mean, I've always spouted nonsense ever since I was able to speak. But that was when I started to spread it, yeah.
Have you considered seeing a doctor?
Of course not. I hate certified professionals. They're only there to mislead and lie to you.
I think you should get tested for several mental impairities, as you would call them.
It's funny how someone you think has so many problems.
Shut up for a second. It's time to talk about today's sponsor, Freeze Vivo. Freeze Vivo is the music branch of justice for Freeze, producing high-quality songs about truth and the fight for justice. You can listen to our first original single titled Righteous Fire now by clicking the link in the description, and look forward to our first official full-length album coming soon. Thank you to Freeze Vivo for sponsoring this episode of Freezecast. Okay, back to the topic at hand. I want to ask you directly, since you failed to answer during our live debate. Are the allegations true? Are you a...
You know, there are many definitions for that word, so you'd have to specify...
It's a yes or no question. Just answer it.
It depends on what you mean.
Dude, you know what I mean. But I want to keep this podcast family friendly.
I can't answer the question because I'm too stupid to know the definition of that word.
Forget it. Next question. Do you believe the Nazis invented autism?
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is, why didn't anyone have autism until after World War II? Think about it.
I have thought about it. You clearly haven't.
What do you expect? I am probably the biggest idiot living in Towson, Maryland.
Try North America, possibly even the world.
I wouldn't go that far. Mostly because I can't comprehend the size of the entire world, but you could be right.
I didn't expect you to be able to. So, during the back and forth we had a while back, you proudly declared that you own books which were written by the co-founder of the KKK. Why do you own those books?
Well, because I agree with everything that he says in those books.
Not surprising, considering you have many other deranged beliefs.
I don't have any beliefs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that you have no emotions, opinions, or beliefs. You really are a specimen worthy of being studied.
What do you mean by that?
All I'm saying is, you bring the average global intelligence down significantly.
You're right. As a matter of fact, I just blew in from stupid town.
Of course you did. Now, I want to ask you about something that will probably make you very uncomfortable. So get ready. Have you ever been diagnosed with or suspect you have any quote-unquote mental impairments?
No.
Be honest. Despite what you may believe, there's nothing wrong with having these types of, and I'm still using your phrasing here, mental impairments. It doesn't make you less of a person if you do.
Well, you see, just observe nature. Verify for yourself what is true and what is false.
I'm trying to do another thing you preach about in your incoherent excuses for YouTube videos. Going to the source, which is you in this instance. Answer the direct question.
I'm not answering that. I'd rather brag about my accomplishments and be a total scumbag.
Your accomplishments. Let's see. You made Toontown videos. You don't own furniture. You drive for Uber. You beg for favors on Reddit. And you've never been able to keep a relationship. You're a loser in the purest sense of the word.
If that makes me a loser, I'm happy to be a loser.
For someone who talks about, quote, how to improve your life, unquote, so much, you sure seem to want to avoid improving your own. You're disgusting.
All of you know that I drive a Tesla that I paid for with a loan that I'll never be able to pay back.
I can't believe you even got a loan in the first place. Your credit is probably in the negatives.
Actually, credit scores don't go that low.
I was being hyperbolic. But I guess you would know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I know everything. I'm highly intelligent, unlike you.
You've spent this entire podcast admitting how stupid you are. But I guess that's the dementia kicking in.
Yo, Israel, go ahead and start up a call, because this guy is in. Matter of fact, we're going to start up a call right now.
Frizzy Dog and Pop, everyone. Probably the biggest waste of a life I've ever come across. Hopefully, he's in prison soon. In the meantime, make sure to check out our sponsor, Freezecast. And tune in next time when we'll have a very special member of the Toontown rewritten team on to discuss justice and how they can make their moderation standards more fair. Thanks for listening. This has been Freezecast Episode 2. Freeze, signing off.
Funding for this episode of Freezecast is made possible in part by Freezecast and by listeners like you. Thank you. Freezecast is written and produced by Mr. Freeze for Justice for Freeze. This podcast is a parody meant for entertainment purposes only. The creators of Freezecast do not condone the harassment of anyone appearing in or mentioned in this podcast. Freezecast is a work of fiction. All characters appearing in this work are fictitious. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Thank you for listening to Freezecast.